and welcome to the second episode of the Puro Gems Podcast here on the 5-Star Network. I'm your host, Peps, Yannick, and my co-host today is none other than Sondre. How are you?
Hi, I'm good.
That's awesome to hear. We are here to talk about the month of March in pro wrestling. And Sondre, tell us first, who are you? What are you doing outside of podcasting?
Yeah, if you haven't heard about me before, I am Sondre Björn. I am the host of the Dramatic Dream Dragons podcast, a podcast all about Dragon Gate and DDT. And we have also covered some GLEAT and Gambare, but we are mostly a Dragon Gate and DDT podcast. We are on the 5-Star Network as well as Pure Gems, and yeah, that's me.
I'm glad to have you here. We never talked about on a podcast before, but I'm really happy to have you here because for those who don't know him, he's really has knowledge and he knows what he's talking about. And I'm glad that we can talk about a lot of stuff here because we had a stacked month, in my opinion.
Yeah, and we haven't done the podcast before together, but we're really good friends, so this should be really fun.
Yes, and we're gonna dive into it instantly, and we start with none other than All Japan. It's gonna be the focal point again of this podcast because they have done a lot, and I personally think they are white hot momentum-wise.
Yeah.
So first of all, my overall question is: how do you feel currently about the All Japan product?
Currently, I am really into the All Japan versus Noah feud that has been like kicking around since the Muto show, Muto retirement show, and I at first I wasn't a fan of it, but now I am starting to become a fan of it. The fact that during this month or starting last month, every title became like outside held. It's held by outsiders now, and at first I was a bit not a fan of that, but then I started thinking and I saw like what they were doing with having the All Japan guys going against them, which would be
totally.
That is a really cool storyline that will probably have a great payoff.
Yeah, that's the thing. And we start off with All Japan. We go into the detail, especially with the story that Sondre just mentioned in a bit. We start off with the All Japan Dream Power Series Day 1 on March 14th. We're gonna start with the match between Ozaki-gun and Mayumi Ozaki and Mayuki teaming together with Suwama against Yoshitatsu, Zaki, and Unagi Sayaka. So I just want to talk about it real quick because it's a kind of wild matchup on paper, especially since, Suwama and Unagi were like the focal point and I would say the feud here. And they worked really well together. I mean, if you like the typical Ozaki-gun stuff with interferences and just cheating all the time, you will like that. If you won't like it, you won't. And personally, I think that Unagi, we're gonna talk about her a lot in every podcast because she's everywhere and it's awesome to see.
Yeah, Yoshitatsu, unofficial member of Cosmic Angels now.
Amazing. He for those who didn't see the match, he did the Cosmic Angels dance at the beginning with Unagi and Saki. That was just wild scenes. We live in some simulation right now.
No, I think this is whatever Unagi is doing is kind of cool, but during the matches, we'll get into this more later, but during the matches, she kind of disappears, and then at the end of the matches, come back and are focal.
Yeah. Unagi's strength is never the in-ring stuff, but what Unagi can do is grab attention. Not only attention in a positive way, but also in a negative way. But she just knows how to get attention in kayfabe, and that's why she is everywhere and just does what she does. I mean, leaving or I don't know if she left Stardom officially, but she definitely isn't in Stardom right now. And doing that is a big step, and I think we can count her as one of the biggest freelancers, at least from the at least from the popularity in Joshi right now, and that's a big thing.
Yeah.
And also teaming with Saki together, of course, Saki also kind of member, I would say supportive member of Cosmic Angels.
I mean, she went to the semifinals of the Triangle Derby with the Cosmic Angels.
Yeah. But I, I just feel like they're more supportive since she isn't full time. But yeah, that's just what I think. Normally, I'm not the biggest Saki fan when it's about the in-ring work. I love her fluffy boots; they're awesome. That's the best part about her. But I think she really tried here, and it paid off. I think she did great.
Yeah.
And
I don't have that much to say about this match except Yoshitatsu and Cosmic Angels.
that's in the end, of course, the Mayumi Ozaki team won, and then we move on to the next match, and we talked about a bit before with the Noah feud. The second match that we're gonna talk about was Kento Miyahara versus Yoshiki Inamura, and that's part of the Noah versus All Japan feud. Inamura, of course, part of the All Japan of New Japan of Pro Wrestling Noah. And I think that was a really good match. Kento put over Inamura really well.
Yeah.
I actually think he had more showing than ever before Noah.
Yeah, Inamura looked awesome in this match. They treated him like he was like the biggest outsider guy, like a main eventer, and then you look at his booking in Noah, and it's not that inspiring. But
yeah, he's kind of stuck in a spot where he can't break out for whatever reason, because sometimes they give him big entrances. I think it was the Cyber Fight Festival where he got the big flag and the big entrance. Everyone was like, "Oh my god, this guy's a star!" And then he did a bunch of nothing for the next 6 months.
Yeah, and we will probably that match could have been the setup for him, but the match got ruined because of Tetsuya Endo's injury.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, also that. Correct. In the end, Kento Miyahara pinned Inamura after like 10 minutes. The match was really fun, a good sprint. Kento gave him a lot, and after the match, they announced a 6-man tag for the March 21st show, which we'll talk about in a bit. It is Kento Miyahara, Ryo Inoue, and Yuma Ansai versus Masaki Tamiya and Kinya Okada, and of course Yoshiki Inamura. The last part with the Noah team was announced on the Noah show, where Kento Miyahara invaded Pro Wrestling Noah. It was also part of the angle, and that angle overall, we will talk about that angle all over the show because it's likely the biggest story right now in the promotion we will talk about.
Yeah. When Kento came into that Noah show, he was like the biggest star on the whole show. And he was just walking out in the suit.
Yeah, I mean, he was more over than Masaki Tamiya, who he confronted there, and should say enough because Masa isn't just any name. I would say he's definitely one of the most over wrestler in the company. So seeing Kento coming out and just looking like the biggest star is insane.
As he should be.
As he should be, yes. And then we move on to the main event of the show. It was Naruki Doi defending his All Japan Junior title against Rising Hayato. You're more familiar with Naruki Doi than I am because I just know his current stuff. How do you feel about his run in the independent scene compared to what he did in Dragon Gate the last couple of months?
Well, in Dragon Gate, he has been kind of like an undercard or upper card. Yeah, he hasn't been that important to the company the last year. Ever since he left Gold Class and became a freelancer, he has been basically just on the sidelines and doing what Ada was doing for all of 2022. But I feel like his independent run has been really good, and I feel like he's enjoying it a lot because he is just having fun everywhere he's going. And I feel like it's just a bucket list check off. I'll take part of the King of DDT. Check. I'll win a DDT title, an All Japan title. Yeah, it's just checking off a list for him, and I think he's just having a lot of fun with that.
Yeah.
When he won the junior title, I was kind of mixed on it because I was very into the Atsuki Aoyagi reign. But then again, I was like, yeah, okay, Atsuki is going to get it back. No worries.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely seems like that Atsuki gets the title back whenever. I don't know yet. I think the Naruki Doi run should go a bit. Here he defended the title against Rising Hayato. Rising Hayato is also, I would say, the tag team partner of Atsuki Aoyagi.
Yeah.
And I think the match was great. I would actually put it above the Atsuki Aoyagi versus Naruki Doi match. And it is the perfect first defense match-wise or the quality-wise, but the booking behind it, I wouldn't say it kind of annoys me a bit. Because Rising Hayato is better than being the first defense again.
Yeah, because he was that for Atsuki also.
Yeah.
And that is a bad spot to be in, but he made the most of it in both the first defenses. Because both the first defenses, like versus Atsuki last year, he shined, and versus Doi this year, he shined because this match was so great. Like Rising Hayato did so much insane stuff in Shinjuku Face in this match, and I loved it.
Yeah, correct. I mean, definitely. I think that both of those matches helped him popularity-wise, not only with the Japanese fans, but also international fans. But the spot is just really hard because it just shows, okay, we see you as a guy that can challenge for the belt, but you're the first defense, so you aren't even close to winning the belt. And it's just sad considering I think I wouldn't say he's as good at Atsuki, but he's definitely the second best tuner they have, or at least they have in push under contract. So I hope he gets the belt down the line. I think he will. It's just going to take a while. And he's always going to be in the shadow of his partner.
Yeah.
After the match... Oh, sorry.
No, I pretty much agree with what you say. And shout out to that awesome Swanton moment.
Yes,
Rising Hayato did in this match.
After the match, Naruki Doi announces tag team partner for the Junior League, and it's someone you might know more than I am, because I watched Naoki Tanizaki just in a few matches. Can you tell me something about him? What's the connection?
The connection is that he was part of a faction with Doi in Dragon. So I am not that familiar with the connection, but I know that they used to be they were part of the same unit, and they were always paired in Team Doi when they did Doi Dart shows, which is where fans throw the darts at the dart board. And this is a really out of sudden like thing, because I didn't see this coming at all. I didn't know Tanizaki was wrestling anymore.
Oh, I knew he did because I watched a bit of his, because I think he was in All Japan last year for like 1 or 2 matches, and he had this match against in a few matches to watch last year of him in a Tenryu project. But it's not like I had him on my eye and thinking, okay, yeah, he's gonna appear in All Japan. And I actually didn't even know he was a Dragon Gate before, but it's just because I'm not that much into Dragon Gate, especially the history of Dragon Gate.
And I mean, I think he held the Triangle Gate with Doi and Casey. That I know.
Okay.
But like, he was just a freelancer on the Dragon Gate shows also. Mm-hmm. Of course, he's most known for the Dragon Gate part of his career. But I look forward to this pairing. but I look forward to another pairing in that tag league more.
Oh yeah. So the 5 tag league tag teams are Naruki Doi and Naoki Tanizaki. Then Atsuki Awagi and Rising Hayato, Hikaru Sato, Dan Tamura, Ryo Inoue, and Shiba Oji, and Kaito Ishida and Kotaro Suzuki was announced on the GLEAT.
That's my team.
All Japan show. And that's your team.
That's my team, baby.
The tournament will run during the Champion Carnival, which, for those who don't know, that is kind of like the G1 of All Japan, just with less wrestlers in it. And I think in the promo, I'm not 100% sure. There was said that they kind of want a junior tag belt, which could be cool. I don't know if it's happening because for now nothing is confirmed.
I mean, they have
the teams for it. That's the thing. They have the teams for it, especially with the freelancers coming in.
But like they kind of have a junior tag titles in the All Asia tag titles, but
but
they've been treated so badly. So. yeah.
But if we look at the tag teams, of course, Awagi and Rising Hayato seem to be the favorite, simply because they are kind of both Noah's All Japan signed, while especially Hikaru Sato, for example, is a freelancer. The GLEAT team both aren't signed with All Japan. And I don't think that the champion will also win the tournament, so maybe they will set something up. I at least hope so. I'm really interested into that. Of course, it won't get as much coverage as the Champion Carnival, but it will be a fun tournament to watch.
They will basically be more important undercard matches on Champion Carnival.
That's shows. Always cool. Yeah. So moving on, we just talked about GLEAT or GLEAT. So also on the 18th, All Japan had the Currican Hall show. It was under the banner All Japan versus GLEAT, and we're gonna talk about the co-main event and the main event here. The co-main event was the G-Rex champion Kaito Ishida against the ace of the All Japan juniors, Atsuki Awagi, and that match went like 10 minutes, 11 minutes, and it was such a fun sprint. I love it.
They had a lot in those 11 minutes or something.
It was just they did everything they could have done in those 11 minutes. Of course, they couldn't go all out crazy and have the match they might have if it was a big title match. They kind of saved that. Hopefully, we might get something, considering Ishida is in the tag league as well. But they have great chemistry. They worked well together. Both showed, of course, how good they are. Ishida, of course, went over at the end since he's the G-Rex champion, the top champion of the promotion. Atsuki Awagi, I hope that the trend won't continue, because at the next show he lost to Dan Tamura as well. And also he lost to Masuwato. So I hope he gets on the track again, and maybe we get some kind of arc where he wins the belt down the line again.
I think the Tamura loss was basically just to set up the Tamura and Hikaru Sato team. I feel like, because the promo after, but I felt this match was just such a fun sprint where I could see Kaito Ishida wrestling Atsuki Aoyagi, who's like they are like two of my favorite juniors in wrestling. So I enjoyed this a lot, maybe even more than some others.
Totally.
I felt that it was Kaito Ishida was so spot on with his kicks, and Atsuki was doing his best at making sure Kaito Ishida looked good, because this was Kaito Ishida's like debut to the All Japan fan base. So I felt like this was a great debut for him. And
totally.
Since he's going to stay around with the company a bit more, it makes sense.
Yes, he looked great here, and we will praise him a lot a bit later. Moving on to the main event, we had the GLEAT versus All Japan match, the main event. It was Kento Miyahara, Tsuchi Ishikawa, Yuma Ansai, and Yuma Awagi against the Strong Hearts, Shima, Linneman, T-Hawk, and then Tetsuya Itsuki though I'm bad with pronouncing his name. And
yeah,
that match,
Suki.
it's Sushi. Okay, that match was for me the best match of the night, no question about it, because they got the most time. They had the best wrestlers of both promotions in there, and my God, Yuma Ansai, what a star!
Yeah, they are behind him.
What a star! For those who don't know him, he's a 23-year-old. He is like 6'2" and debuted in September. We have now April, so when the match was, it was March. 7 months into his career, he looked like he's wrestling for years. He's so good. He's so talented, and just has the style of where you like, okay, he's an ace. He's an ace. I'm pretty sure he's an ace.
And he pinned the former ace of Dragon Gate.
Yes, he. So in the end of the match, Yumansai hit 2 jumbo knees. He went to the same university as Jumbo Tsuruda, and then hit the German suplex to pin Shima. And pinning Shima is a big thing, because Shima doesn't take many pins. Shima actually politics a lot, that he doesn't need to take many pins. But when he takes pins, those are major, and that was a major pin. He got the main event in the Hurricane Hall show, in the main event, and that says something how high they are on him, and also how high other wrestlers are on him too.
They're treating Yuma Ansai how people feel Yoshiki Inamura should be treated.
Yes,
by Noah.
as the total next star.
Yeah. And
I would actually go as far and say he's a super rookie. He's booked as a super rookie. We can't deny that. And it doesn't take much longer till he at least gets a shot at the Triple Crown belt. I don't know if it's this year, but it's gonna be soon.
Yeah. I remember this being a really fun 8-man tag main event, but I don't remember anything else except Yuma Ansai pinning him. Because this was at the start of the month, and I have a short memory.
All Japan had a lot of shows this month, to be fair. They always have. But all of worth talking about. And the other one, the last one we had, was the March 21st show. And, they had the typical undercard, and we just going to jump in and talk about the last 3 matches. We had the All Japan versus Noah match that we mentioned earlier. The 6-man tag, Kinya Okada, Masaki Tamiya, and Yoshiki Namura defeat Kenta Miyahara, Ryo Inoue, and Yuma Ansai. And I need to say, this feud between Noah and All Japan just can't miss. I don't think we had any bad match between them in any constellation. Any form.
Yeah. It's just fun.
It's just fun. I said it with Scott, I think. Interpromotional stuff makes wrestling so much better, especially drawing-wise, what interest and whatever. Because, just a little fun fact, All Japan already drew more 1,000 plus fans in a venue than they did last year. And we are in March. I think they did like 1,000 plus. It's insane.
And interpromotional matches, the most important thing about it is that it brings over viewers from the other company.
Yes,
both in the arena and on online of the Western fan base. I have seen a lot of Noah fans talk about All Japan this month, and that is big. I feel like that's really cool.
Yes, definitely. Especially since All Japan doesn't have a lot of fans in the Western.
Yeah.
Which kind of is their own fault, I need to say, because it wasn't always good in the last couple of years. But it feels like the first 3 months have been a way up, and with the Muta show especially, thank you, Muta, for that. That's the only good thing you have done in the last 2 years. We finally kick off in a new. It feels like a good era of All Japan. I hope it's going to stay that way.
I hope this momentum will continue, because last year before the carnival and up and through the carnival, I felt the same about All Japan. But then they kind of fumbled. They didn't give Yuma the title. They gave the title back to Jake Lee. Then Suwama won it. And
that was the problem. That was the beginning of the end of the All Japan run last year. Yeah.
They shot themselves in the foot halfway through last year. I just hope they can keep the good momentum they have this year in the first half going all year.
Yes. And going into the detail of the match, I think that was the perfect example of what we said. Inamura is just a star.
Yeah.
He was the focal point of this match. He and Ryo Noe, who debuted a new look, worked the most. Of course, the Kenta Miyahara Masakitamiya part was the important part of the story. And I think I kind of feel like, I don't know if they have real heat or not, because that's just, story. But in story, they definitely hate each other, and we were able to see that. And from the looks like of the promo afterwards, I don't know if we're going to get another Kanto versus Masakitamiya match in some form. But the feud between All Japan and Noah is definitely not over.
Yeah. And I was a bit disappointed that Masakitamiya wasn't one of the exes in the carnival, but it makes sense with maybe there is actual heat between him and Kenta.
Yeah, definitely. And the reason why I said that All Japan versus Noah feud isn't over yet is the next match, the All Japan World Tag Team title match. Naoya Nomura and Yuma Aoyagi defend the belts against Kongo, Keno, and Manabu Soya. And wow, that match rocked.
Yeah, awesome match.
Okay. Maybe you will disagree with that, but I think that the Soya and Nomura interactions were better than the Yuma and Keno interactions. I feel like that Yuma and Keno don't have the chemistry you would expect them to have. Not that their interactions are bad, they are still great, but I feel like they could have been better.
Yeah, I see that. I think Yuma is just both Yuma and Keno are having a lot of fun trolling each other,
and
I think that's mostly what they were doing. And Naoya and Manabu Soya was just hitting each other really hard.
Yes, it's just so simple wrestling. That's awesome.
Yeah. Was it this match Naoya Nomura got injured in?
Yes, okay.
I don't remember the spot that was.
I don't know. I don't know if it was that match or it was in training, because but it definitely that was his last match before before the injury got announced. So to go into detail, Naoya Nomura has a torn ACL, and he's gonna be out at least for the entire year. I guess he got a surgery instantly, which is not a good thing.
No,
at least doesn't mean it's good. I hope he's going to be all right. Of course, he's going to be out of the Champion Carnival. We will get into the lineup a bit. And with that, even without the injury, the title switched hands here. Keno and Manabu Soya won the All Japan World Tag Team belts. And with that, two wrestlers from Noah are champions in All Japan. Of course, Manabu Soya is ex-All Japan wrestler. It's his fourth title reign with the All Japan tag belts.
Yeah,
Keno never held a belt in All Japan, and he was so happy for some reason about that.
I'm sure he's a really big All Japan fan in heart.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he was really happy about that, and they won a match. I think we will get to the direction in a bit. After the match, the not so good part. Suwama and I think it was Kono.
Yeah.
From the Voodoo Murders challenge, Keno and Manabu Soya. The Congo team sat and rejected the challenge. And that was kind of expected, because at the Noah show we talked about earlier, where also Kenta appeared, Keno and Manabu Soya had a GHC tag belt match, and they invited Suwama to the show, and he didn't appear. So they kind of made it obvious, okay, they're going to challenge. And now they did. Keno and Manabu Soya are the tag team champions. And with that, like you said earlier, all the champions besides Yoshitatsu are not All Japan wrestlers. You have Naruki Doi, he's a freelancer. You have Yuji Nagata as a Triple Crown champion, who is a New Japan wrestler. You have the tag team champions from Noah. The Garage TV champion is one great. And then the 6-man champions doesn't matter, and all the Asia tag team champions doesn't matter as well. So the main 4 belts are all in the hands of outsiders. And like I said earlier, there's a big part with the main unit that just founded that will try to defend All Japan from the outsiders, and I guess that's the future story that we'll see.
I remember when this title change happened, I read it because I was watching the DDT show that was happening at the same time. This was a very busy day for Japanese pro wrestling.
Yes, that was the holiday.
And I remember I saw that spoiler that Kongo had won, and I was like, man, isn't this like I'm a big fan of Naoya and Yuma, so I was a bit pissed at the first, but then I was like, yeah, it makes sense because now the quest and the winning, like the All Japan guys winning the titles back will mean so much more. And
yes,
I personally hope that the guys that win the titles back are Yuma and Atsuki.
Oh, that would be awesome. I don't know if he's getting the world belts, especially since Atsuki is.
I want that though.
Yeah. I don't know. With I just hope they really do it, and it's not just okay. They just say it and then don't pull it off. Because the last time they did this kind of last time with the Voodoo Murders, and it didn't really work out the way they wanted to. Since it was like, okay, the tag belts changed at a random show, and then whatever, they just held it for a bit, and I don't know. It was
as long as the All Japan guys that wins the titles back aren't Voodoo Murderers, I think I will be fine.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. And there are a lot of possible challenges for all of the champions. And speaking of champions, we also have the main event. Yuji Nagata defends his Triple Crown belt against, of course, from the main Tsuji Ichikawa from the All Japan main unit. So we had here the confrontations between Yuji Nagata, the outsider, against the main unit guy, Tsuji Ichikawa, and that story they told here perfectly fit into that. What we said, like just sad. They tried to push Ishikawa as the babyface from All Japan. It tries to get the belt back to All Japan, but it didn't get out. It didn't go out well for him.
Yeah, the last Triple Crown title match Shuji Ishikawa had was in the same building last year versus Kento.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt that like last year's Shuji Ishikawa performance was way better than this year's Shuji Ishikawa performance. But I don't know about this match. I like it, but I felt it took a long time to getting to where I wanted it to get. And then they ended it.
I personally am not that high of it. I would say it was still a great match, but I've seen people being way higher than I am, and I'm not on that. It's definitely not as good as the Nagata versus Kento match, because
I think that is my problem with it.
Yeah, and I think that's a match that Nagata won't have again outside of with Kento.
I agree with that, but
because that match was just told perfectly.
I think I set my expectations for this match way too high, because I after the last Yuji Nagata Triple Crown match and after the last Shuji Ishikawa Triple Crown match, which I rewatched before this match, I was like, that I'm expecting this to just be two old guys going out there and hitting each other really hard for 20 minutes. And they did that, but they also did a lot of rest holds.
Yeah, of course. I mean, the thing is, the match wasn't paced with Kento, because when Kento paces the match, he automatically paces it way too fast for anyone to follow.
Yeah.
While here, Ishikawa also, I think Ishikawa is, I would say Ishikawa is in worse condition than Nagata in some way. they both don't have the stamina to go 25 minutes against each other without doing rest holds. If the other doesn't force the one to go. And of course, with that, we said it. Yuji Nagata defended the belt for the first time. The next challenge will be against the Triple Crown champion, or like the Triple Crown winner. And after the match, we had all the Triple Crown participants coming out and kind of introducing themselves and saying why they should win. And also, we said it a bit like 5 minutes ago. They had 2 axes in there. The first one was revealed early in the show, and it's none other than the biggest axe in the universe and the biggest axe of professional wrestling history, Satoshi Kojima.
Hell yeah. He's still the biggest axe of all time.
we can't, I love Satoshi Kojima. I love this Noah run, but we can't escape him. It's kind of just a meme to be like the biggest axe. It's just funny. And with that...
He is what Ninja Mac is to Noah versus Dragon Gate matches. Ninja Mac is just always in Noah versus Dragon Gate matches. Satoshi Kojima is always the X.
Yes, awesome. That's what I love Satoshi Kojima. I would say he's definitely one of the favorites to actually win it because it's Satoshi Kojima.
Yeah. Which block is in? A block or B block?
A block. We are getting Satoshi Kojima versus Kento Miyahara. What a wild matchup! Yeah,
I still feel like the winner of this whole tournament is the Kento, but yeah.
And the second next is from Pro Wrestling Noah. We always said it. Okay, it's gonna be an X for Pro Wrestling Noah. We were talking about Nakajima. We were talking about Masaki Tamiya. It was Manabu Soya, the new All Japan Tag Team Champion.
Safe choice.
It's the safe choice to not go into a booking disaster with 30-minute time limits all the time.
And it also couldn't be Katsuhiko Nakajima because he is challenging for the GHC heavyweight title this month.
And winning it.
Oh, I hope so.
No, they have, so sorry, but we just got, my prediction for that is they have a sumo hall show the next month. I think they will somehow run Nakajima versus, or at least it's my dream. It's not a reality. It's my dream that they run Nakajima versus Kento in the main event of the sumo hall show, but that will sell some tickets.
Man, that would be
the awesome. Realistic situation is just that's Kaito versus Jake Lee.
Yeah.
So Manabu Soya is the X. He's in the B block. What I want to say is there is a match in the A block that feels so weird to have in All Japan. It's T-Hawk from GLEAT against Satoshi Kojima from New Japan in an All Japan ring.
Yeah. Crazy stuff has happened in All Japan.
So to run down
you're saying this, but then again, there is a Dragon Gate signed guy who's holding a DDT title coming in on the shows also. So
it's so weird. To quickly run down the 2 blocks, we have the A block: Yuma Awagi, Kento Miyahara, Yoshitatsu. I don't think anyone needs him. Ryuki Honda, T-Hog, Yun Saito, Cyrus, and now Satoshi Kojima.
Hell yeah, Cyrus is back. Ash will be so happy.
I'm happy too. I like him.
Yeah, I like Cyrus.
On the B block, we have Suwama, Sushi Ishikawa, Shotaro Ashino. Normally, we had Naoya Nomura, but he's injured, so Takuya Omori's taking his spot. I don't need Omori matches in 2023, at least singles matches.
Not that Omori, no.
Then we have Rei Saito, Hokuto Omori, Yuma Ansai, and Manabu Soya. It all screams like someone of the All Japan army All Japan main units winning that. And if there's one, never bent against Ace. If not, I have 3 names on my list. Okay, of course, Kento Miyahara.
Yeah.
Yuma Awagi, of course, because it's Yuma. You never can count him out at this point. And the third one is Yuma Ansai.
Oh, I agree with the two first ones. I could see Yuma on side, but want I both want and could see Shotaro Ashino winning B block.
Mm-hmm. Is
he has been on the cooldown for such a long time now that I feel like they want to heat him up again.
I think they shot an angle with him and Suwama and something. I think they are likely facing each other on the last day. I definitely could see them doing that as the decider who goes into the final.
Yeah.
And just throwing into Yuma on side just for the reason. So if it happens, that I can say I called it.
that would be awesome.
My original theory was in Naoya Nomura versus Yumawagi final because that would make a lot of sense.
But my original prediction for this year's Champion Carnival was Naoya Nomura winning, so
that ended up not happening. Yeah, since then a lot of happened, and I think there is a few possibilities. I would never count out Suwama. I would never count out Satoshi Kojima. But I think they have some good solutions, or like some good wrestlers.
It would be so boring if Suwama win.
Suwama, from the ones that actually have a chance to win, Suwama would be the worst option.
Yeah,
it sounds sad to say that, but I hope Kento doesn't win it because Kento doesn't need it, and also I think it would be way better for the company if someone else than the Ace dethrones the outsider Nagata. Yeah. But yeah, of course, the tournament will happen in the next couple of weeks. We will talk about the whole tournament in the next podcast, and that's it for All Japan for today. We're gonna move on to GLEAT. GLEAT had a big show, a big show on March 21st. And I personally think that there is something happening that's really interesting outside of the title picture. And that's the story between, who are you going to talk about here again? Unagi Sayaka and Michiko Miyagi. So they had a tag match. It was Atsuki Awagi and Unagi Sayaka, the loudest tag team in the world, against Michiko Miyagi and Yukari Hosokawa. Unagi picked up the win, and after the match, they held a promo where Unagi challenged Miyagi to a loser leaves GLEAT match. So it's not for Unagi to leave GLEAT, but I think if she loses, she's definitely not coming back. That's like that often. Maybe in the future. But it's about if Miyagi loses, she's out of GLEAT. And that's a big stipulation. Especially since Miyagi loses a lot. So I don't know if she's going to win.
She's winning. Come on. she is so winning. It's in Korakuen. Unagi takes a lot of L's already.
That's true. It's just I'm just I don't trust GLEAT with that. In some form, because they let their talents, the women, lose a lot.
Yeah, but she has said that she's leaving GLEAT if she loses.
Yeah. What if she goes to Stardom?
I don't see that. Maybe that I don't see that happening at all. But
she goes back to Natsumure and then former tag team in the PPP Tokyo. That's the idea.
Yeah, that would be very bad for her. I feel like the potential of Miyagi in GLEAT is still better than her leaving. Even though she takes a lot of losses in GLEAT, she's still treated like one of the core roster members.
And also I think she's backstage trainee with the women. I think she trains the women backstage. Yeah. I at least would guess so, because she feels like a senpai to both of them.
Yeah, I feel her and Minoru Tanaka are probably doing a lot of that stuff.
Shout out to Minoru Tanaka.
Yeah, Geora TV champion.
Like you said, I think the match has the stakes makes this match so big, and also Unagi's star power, because she clearly have them. I hope she starts winning more in the future, because she's losing a lot. I would need to check, but she definitely lost a lot in Stardom 2. She always lost a lot.
Yeah.
She lost in Stardom 2, but I think if we go with winning percentage, her run right now is even worse than in Stardom. And which is sad because it's so easy to make her a star. It's so easy.
Yeah.
And they still fumble it.
I feel like this whole GLEAT Unagi thing will be wasted if we don't see her in the UWF match versus Maya Fukuda.
Oh my god, imagine.
That I would love Unagi in the UWF match. Come on.
It should be Unagi and Shrek together.
Oh hell yeah.
I think Shrek is an Unagi fan actually. That's why I said it.
Speaking of the UWF, I don't know if you plan on talking about this, but what do you think about the tag title? No, the UWF title tournament.
I actually did not watch that. I did kind of watched it, but not fully that much. I think the idea behind the UWF tournament is great. Pun intended, no pun intended, because it helps, of course, they have this division, but also I'm not the biggest fan of UWF.
Yes.
It's like, okay, they have good matches, but those matches are, okay, if they wrestle normally, I think they would have a better match.
Yeah. That is true. But I feel like the UWF title will be like something that makes GLEAT even more unique.
Yes, definitely.
And that is like a hook they need. They need to stand out more than they do. Like they already stand out because they are free on YouTube and all that. But like the UWF title, I think can be a really good shot in the arm for some uniqueness. And some identity, because what GLEAT has missed a lot is an identity.
I mean, they are just the Strongheart guys doing Strongheart stuff.
Yeah.
Like the other 5 Strongheart promotions we already had.
Shima bringing in his friends.
Shima bringing in his friends and the few people he finds in independent scene that nobody else would book.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. Moving on to the G Infinity title match. Bulk Orchestra, Jack Shimitani and Hayato Tamura against El Lindemann and Sumo Watanabe. And that kind of surprised me. I mean, I expected the match to be good, but I really liked that one. I think
it was really
Soma
good.
did fantastic.
Yeah, Soma and Lindemann was a great tag team. I wanted to see them like team so much more now. And I felt like this was the most standout G Infinity title match so far. I mean, it's been a really bad title start to the title, so it doesn't say that much, but it was still a great match.
I like the tag team of Shimitani and Tamura. I think they're both really cool, and also, but it's just the start of the title with Kazuma and Kawakami winning the belts and then dropping it like 2 days later for no reason after the big win over Shima and T-Hawk, and the Hurricane is like, why? Why?
And out of nowhere.
Yes, especially it was not like that Tamura or Tamura or Jack Shimitani did something big on the Hurricane to explain, okay, they just had something else planned for a longer time. No, they just, for some reason, just lost the belts wasn't there in the tournament to win it, and then won it like 11 days later. And then you had those weird stuff with the interim title, like instantly they had an interim title with Irie and T-Hawk.
Yeah.
Which I still didn't get. Why?
Yeah. GLEAT title booking is so weird. But yeah, I'm really into this check-in Hayato team and title reign. It's giving
they make it not easy to root for or like the right title reign.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I feel like this team with Hayato and Czech is finally giving Czech Shimatani something to do. Because like ever since GLEAT became a thing and he became a part of the roster in Bulk Orchestra, he's just been the guy that says Czech, which was basically his character in DDT also. But you know, like now he's actually doing something, having great matches and being an important person. So I like they should have been the champions from the start. That should have been what the title reign was. But I'm looking forward to their next title match.
Correct. It's against Flamita and El Bendito in the Currican Hall.
Yeah.
I have not seen El Bendito wrestle, I think. Or at least I didn't really notice it. Flamita, of course, well known from our age, for example, or other promotions.
Dragon Gate, former
Brave
Gate champion. No, El Benito, I've seen like 1 or 2 matches from in Big Lucha.
Ah, okay, cool. I hope he's good. I mean, I'm pretty sure he is.
Yeah.
So
we'll see.
Moving on to speaking about Dragon Gate. Moving on to the main event, Kaito Ishida, the current Durex champion, defends his Durex title against Kazuma Sakamoto, and they have a pass in Dragon Gate, correct?
Yes. Real extreme diffusion. RED, baby. They are former Open Twin Gate champions.
I knew that. I know that. No.
But they were a V0 title, right? But yeah.
Yeah. I think that match was fantastic. I didn't expect a lot of this match. Yeah. I didn't expect a lot of this match because I'm not the biggest Kazuma Sakamoto fan. That from it, I would say, okay, he's gonna have this kind of match, and without knowing what he's done, without seeing every match of his, I would be shocked if he had a better singles match than this.
No, this was his best singles match ever. So,
I mean, I would put this I think he had tag matches with Sujira and Noah against Go and Seiki Nakajima.
Yeah, those are like the tag team greatness he has had. That is true. But this is his best singles match. That is 100% a fact. And I was really excited for this because Kazuma Sakamoto had the most underrated title match versus Shun Skywalker in Shun Skywalker's whole reign. And it's a match that everyone should go back and watch because it's so underappreciated. And I feel like that was when I first saw how fun Kazuma Sakamoto can be as a singles wrestler. Kaito Ishida has always been known for being great. He also faced Shun Skywalker for the title in a match that I still consider a bit better than this match, but
yes,
it's still like this is probably the best performance Kaito Ishida has had in GLEAT, and this was also the best singles performance Kazuma Sakamoto has had in his whole career. So this match is a match of the year contender for me. It is a fantastic match that I feel everyone should watch.
Yes, 100%.
It's free on YouTube. You need to watch this match if you haven't.
I would definitely say it was also one of the best Durex title matches. The Durex title had so many great matches. It's insane. Yeah. That definitely ranks up as one of the better ones, but like one of the best of the best.
And the important thing also about it is that it gave GLEAT the shot in the arm of momentum they needed this year. Because GLEAT has had a shit year so far.
I would say people talked about this match and that is a lot. That means a lot. Because most of the time no one really talks about GLEAT.
Yeah, because they have kind of been forgotten about this year. The first 2 months of GLEAT has not been that good, and this was the first match that everyone talked about.
Yes, at least since the Durex title has always been okay. That's the match where we got the attention. And then they just didn't follow up and Kaito Ishida did a whole bunch of nothing for like 3 months with the title.
Yeah, that is also an issue. That he went from winning it in January to not defending it until halfway through March. That was a problem. Kaito, earlier this year, the Lindaman match with Kaito Ishida, when he won the title, everyone talked more about the weird convoluted booking way they got to that win, and
Instead
not
of
that
the
much
great
about
matches.
the title. Yeah,
Yes,
about
correct.
the match. So
that was the major issue with me for the. I mean, the matches are fantastic, and the first match was fantastic. This match was fantastic, and the next match is also going to be fantastic because Kaito Ishida, of course, retained his title, got the first defense, and his next challenger might be his last one.
Oh, I hope not.
His next defense is against T-Hawk, and if we know one thing about GLEAT, if T-Hawk is challenging, or like if we not only GLEAT but Strongheart's booking, if T-Hawk is challenging, the title could switch.
Yeah,
T-Hawk is the main eventer of the Stronghearts. He was the one we all expected to be as the front runner or like the ace of this promotion.
Everyone expected him to be the first champion, but they chose Lindemann, which I still am a fan of.
They went to the other guy from the Stronghearts that they want to push.
Yeah.
And it could finally for him that he claims his throne as the ace of the company and dethrones Kaito. I don't want to see that. I love T-Hawk. I want him to hold the belt. But please,
but no. the title reign has gone. It has only had 2 matches in it. It will just be a way too early title loss.
Of course, the best thing about T-Hawk winning, if it happens, would be that he would be in the Champion Carnival with the belt, and then you could do All Japan versus GLEAT in a GLEAT show for the belt. I don't know.
Yeah, I think
that's the best solution they could do if they want to go with T-Hawk. That's the thing they should do.
I was just about to say, I think that maybe because he's in the Champion Carnival, he isn't winning. But then I remembered Lindemann was G-Rex champion and was in the best of the Super Juniors.
And lost.
Yeah, and lost a lot. So, yeah.
And that's actually it already with GLEAT. That was a cool show. You should definitely check out the last 2 matches that were by far the best one. And
the Cork and Hall show will be reviewed in full on the Dramatic Dream Dragons in a couple of weeks when it happens.
That's interesting. Yes, check it out, of course. We're going to plug it a lot of times during this podcast.
Yeah.
Then we got to move on to some Joshi wrestling because, of course, we love Joshi wrestling here. And you can decide, do you want to talk about the dramatic part of Joshi wrestling or the good part of Joshi wrestling?
Let's start with some controversy.
Yes! We start off with Ice Ribbon.
Hell yeah.
Ice Ribbon had a Hurricane Hall show. We start off with the show review. And Ice Ribbon had a Hurricane Hall show on March 19th. And I would say with some interesting things happening. They had 2 title changes. The first one was Hamuko Hoshi and Makoto won the International Ribbon Tag titles back from Hikaru Shida, former AW World Champion, and Ibuki Hashi. I love this match.
It was pretty fun.
This match. I mean, I'm a big Ibuki Hashi fan. I'm a big Hikaru Shida fan. I'm a big Makoto fan. I would say that was on the level of their first title match, which was also fantastic against each other. This one went a bit longer, I think, with the other outcomes. So Hashi pinned, so Hamuka Hashi pinned Ibuki Hashi here, and besides the match itself, I think the bigger part was here the tweets Shida put out afterwards. that made it sound like she's done with Ice Room for now again.
I have not seen these tweets, so this
Yeah,
this is news to me.
she kind of tweeted that she's done that she lost the belt. She has nothing to do in Ice Room anymore. So then fans replied that she should stay and wrestle with Tsukasa Fujimoto when she's back. I don't know if she's coming back, but that's another story.
So I prefer the match where Shira and Ibuki won the titles.
Yes, because it felt the moment was bigger, for especially Ibuki.
Yeah, and I don't know. This match was good. But I didn't feel that invested in it. I think a lot of this show, in my perspective, got hurt because of all the drama a couple of days before.
Yes. Yeah, we're gonna talk about it after the show.
Yeah. What I'm a bit disappointed about with this Ibuki Hoshi and Hikaru Shida team is that it didn't really lead to the like big singles match that I wanted to see. The like big singles rematch. At least for now.
Yeah. I mean, because the dream booking always was Hikaru Shida puts over Ibuki Hashi, but I wouldn't say that she's not laying down for someone because we don't know it yet, and she has still the Regina Wave belt.
Yeah,
that she needs to drop somehow, but I don't see her dropping or like losing to Ibuki Hashi in a singles match, and that's the problem here with the Shida run. And it helped Ibuki to get away from her mother, but now instead of being just the daughter of Hamiko, she's now the big Hikaru Shida fan that's never overcoming her.
Yeah. It was also like a feeling of Shida telling Ibuki to prove herself, and Ibuki not really
just
proving herself. Yeah. Just lost, and it felt a bit anticlimactic.
Of course, they had those miscommunications, which leads to their loss. But that's the thing always with Hikaru Shida and her not being full-time in the promotion. We don't know if the story gets a payoff or it's just, them teasing and hoping something happens out of it.
And she has the AEW protection.
Yes.
That is a thing.
That is a big thing. Yeah, and then we move on to the main event before we talk about what happened. The main event was Saori Anou defending her Ice Cross Infinite Championship against Totoro Satsuki. And I remember strongly two things about this match. First of all, the big botch, the major botch.
So scary. I was so scared.
With Anou trying to count, it's kind of the setup of the powerbomb from the top rope into I think it was some kind of Rana. But they botched it and it just fell on the ground and it looked really scary. And then it was like, oh, holy hell.
That was scary. I was like halfway paying attention up until that point, and when that happened, I jumped out of my chair and was actively really scared. And I watched this match like 2 weeks after it happened, almost like 1.5 weeks after it happened. That shocked me.
Yes, that was scary. The other thing was, I would say, the surprising title change. In the end, Totoro Satsuki dethroned Saori Anou. And I wouldn't say that that Anou dropping the belts was shocking, rather against who? 3 months ago we were all sitting here, like 4 months ago we were all sitting here, okay, Asahi or Ibuki Hashi are winning the belts, or is winning the belt. It was someone totally different. I'm not the biggest Satsuki fan. I think she's good, but of course she's just good compared to Ibuki Hashi and Asahi, who are great talents. And it felt like Anou is going to Stardom. I don't know, for a bit, so she just needs to drop the belt.
Yeah, that was what it felt like mostly. But I felt also Totoro earned the win, because after that match, the match got really good in my opinion, and they like recovered a lot of the momentum they lost with that match, and there was a lot of like near falls and hopeful and like hope spots for Totoro in just feeling like Anno was unrelenting and was always going to kick out, but then she wasn't able to kick out in the end. And I don't know. I really liked it after the botch.
Same.
And I felt Totoro earned the win.
Yes. But
and that was definitely her best match in my opinion.
Yeah, from what I've seen at least,
yeah.
But that entire show was overshadowed by a press conference. I think it was after the show, like the day after. Asahi and Naoya Ishikawa had a press conference, and Naoya Ishikawa announced that she's departing from Ice Ribbon, while Asahi is announcing that she's going on loan to Actress Girls.
Hell yeah.
On loan to Actress Girls, she pretty much said that if she likes it, she's gonna stay, which I think is gonna happen. With
Hopefully.
now, it's the thing, she started to legitimately shoot against the president who was next to her. And the trouble is continuing in Ice Ribbon after Prominence left, after Yuki Mashiro decided to retire. Now we have Asahi and now Ishikawa leaving as well. I mean, Mayuki left. It seems like that now that it seems like that Saria Nu is done with the promotion. It seems like that Shida's done with the promotion. Tsukishi's retired. Tsukasa is pregnancy.
Pregnant.
I don't know if she's coming back that soon.
No, I wouldn't expect that. Yeah,
doesn't
now
good here.
Ice Ribbon loses to two wrestlers that they could have built a stars around, and the thing here is the biggest issue I have with Ice Ribbon isn't all the drama. It is the problem that I have with Ice Ribbon is that none of the wrestlers on the roster brings me into every show. Because with SEAdLINNG and with Sendai Girls and even Marvelous, you have those wrestlers that brings you back, that you have to watch. You have your Miyamomo's, your Takumi Iroha, Maria. You have like Arisa Nakajima. The list goes on. No, Ice Ribbon doesn't have any anymore. They've lost Fujimoto. They've lost Haruka. They've lost so many people that there are no. Like I come into Ice Ribbon to watch Sariano and Hikaru Shida, and both of them though are freelancers.
Yeah, I feel bad for Ibuki Hashi, for example, because she's the only one left of her thing, and she's awesome. Blessings. I hope she succeeds in Ice Ribbon. Of course, because of her mother, she's decides to stay there, and of course, maybe she wants to wrestle there. But at Saudi, she's like the last wrestler of this generation where we thought, okay, they're all gonna be the future top stars. She's the last one standing, and it's not a good thing. And I hope that Ice Ribbon stays intact, and I hope that they don't close down, because I don't think that a president. I don't think it's gonna hold forever, and I'm kind of sad about that, because the indie scene does not need more freelancers, because we already have way too many.
Yeah.
So just hoping the best for Ice Ribbon, and I think it's the best to move on of it. The president of Ice Ribbon should maybe step down. I think everyone said that already. Thank you.
Yeah.
Moving on to the promotion you just mentioned, SEAdLINNG. They had one show with two title matches. We just quickly going to talk about it. They had Misakakura versus Riku Kaiju for the POP belt, so the mid-card belt of PJ, so the Princess of Pro Wrestling title. I think that was the best match of Misakakura's career. She is really young, just 2 years into wrestling. She didn't do much yet. That was her biggest match ever, and she totally delivered you.
Yeah, the POP title goes back all the way to like JD Star and JWP. Like the prestige of the POP title is pretty big, So
Yeah.
I am really happy that Rika Kaiju is holding it and having title matches with it on SEAdLINNG shows. And
people who are holding the belts of future top stars always was like that.
Yeah.
I think.
And it was really cool to see Misa Kagura shine in this way, because this was as you said, a really good performance from her.
Misa Kagura doesn't have it easy in Ice Rim, let's say it like that. She has Tomoka Inaba in front of her. Tomoka is an all-time talent in terms of being so young and so good that it's not easy for someone to reach a level, and Misa doesn't have that level yet, of course, but she is slowly showing out more and more, which is a good thing. She even had she even has an Ice Rim tag title match in April. I think it was like 2 days ago. So she's finally getting some bigger spots. That's cool for her.
Yeah.
Riku Kaiju in the end retains the belt. It was her, I think it was her third defense. It was her second defense. She's defending the belt next again in the PJ Hurricane Hall show. And then we move on to the main event. It was Arisa Nakajima defending her SEAdLINNG Beyond the Sea title against the Panda Girl from 2AW, Ayame Sasumura. And I love Ayame. And she's kind of the best example how hard young Joshi wrestlers have it in indies without any kind of backing. Because she's so good and she rarely gets those opportunities.
This was fantastic.
Yes.
The Arisa Nakajima, I was expecting violence from Arisa, but I wasn't expecting crowd brawling Arisa. And I was really into this match. This match ended up being on like my top 10 of the month easily. Yeah, this is one of my favorite indie Joshi matches of the year so far.
Same.
And Ayame Sasumura had a star-making performance in defeat, and it was just awesome.
Yeah, totally. She in the end came close to winning, but didn't win. I think she gave Arisa the toughest fight she had in this run.
Yeah,
I like the direction Arisa has with trying to wrestle the young talents and putting them over it while winning. And now we come to the part of SEAdLINNG where I'm like, oh, I don't need that. I think that's kind of what I've criticized a lot about SEAdLINNG last couple of months. Arisa Nakajima helped the closing promo and challenged their current champions who haven't defended the belt in like 500 years, Makoto and Asuka, to a tag title match. She has no tag team partner yet, but I guess the returning Yoshiko would be a possibility.
Yeah, I could see that.
I mean, her normal tag partner just got a child, so I don't think it's...
Yeah, it's not Fujimoto. The last time the Beyond the Sea tag team titles were defended was in October of 2022 versus Saki and Yuko Sakurai.
Yeah, Yuko Sakurai, yeah.
Yeah. That is long.
I don't get it.
I think that is because Asuka is on every show. They should be able to defend it like more often than they do.
Yeah, especially they have even tag matches. It's not like they don't have any matches, anything. They just
But they're stuck in this like every match Las Fresas are in. They are facing Amazon, and Amazon hasn't found a like partner to team with versus Asuka and Makoto, so they kind of like moved away from having that title match, and it just feels weird. But yeah, I want the tag titles to be defended more. I am like the thing that brings me into SEAdLINNG are the Beyond the Sea title matches with Arisa. So everything else with SEAdLINNG I kind of like put on the like I don't care.
Yeah.
I focus on the Arisa Nakajima title defenses.
Yeah, that's your typical Joshi Indies way. They just book for their record, for the fans that buy the tickets. It's not always something that I'm like, okay, I need that. Just hoping that Arisa all belts is not what's happening. But if that means that the belt is getting defended more, I'm all in for that. Moving on to Marvelous. They had, for me, the best Joshi match of the month in terms of indies. It was Miyu Momono versus Big Hash, Chihiro Hashimoto, the rematch from their big rivalry in 2021. And that was the closest for me. We have seen Miyu Momono from 2021 or 2020, 2021. She was so great. The perfect baby face. And you just want to root for
this was
just... I love it.
Like Miyu Momono did this also with Arisa Nakajima earlier, maybe last month, I think.
Yeah. Just a bit.
That was a bit shorter than this and was a bit less competitive than this. But this was just awesome. It's like Hashimoto is on a Wrestler of the Year run. It's a shame that we have to wait like so long to watch most of her matches.
Yeah, it's depressing. It's depressing. I still don't like the fact that they are doing a trial series with a wrestler that is 7 years into her career, but it means that we're getting Miyu Momono big matches. I'm okay with that. Because she definitely needs some because she felt really irrelevant after returning. So I'm happy she has that.
As great as this match was, it wasn't on the same level as their Senna Girls match.
No, of course not.
Which it was never going to be on that same level.
Yes.
That match has so much special build to it and this was just a random match put out like 2 weeks before.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think we're gonna get one in the future, and that will rock more, way more than this one, and that's kind of a statement because that one was fantastic. Still, another thing I want to mention. Sorry, did you want to say something?
My last thing about this match is that these two can't have bad matches with each other. No. They have fantastic chemistry and probably is one of the best Joshi in the pairings.
Joshi pairings overall, yes.
Yeah, Joshi pairings overall also.
Yeah, what I kind of wanted to mention is they shot an angle with Unagi Sayaka, so Unagi Sayaka is now officially training under Chikuse Nagayo, which is cool to see. And I'm happy for Nagi because she doesn't have it easy, like I said.
They should recreate the documentary.
Oh, jeez. It's just it's just a bit funny to me that Nagayo only can book training arcs. It's like the second training arc that's happening in Marvelous right now of the two stories they have. So it's kind of wow.
Yeah.
At least Takumi Roja's back. She also had a match that I really enjoyed. Actually, it was her and Leo Isaki against Chikayo Nagashima and Daisuke Tsukimoto. You watched that? Yes, that was great.
That match was awesome.
Yeah, definitely. They just had just had a cool match. The return matches in Marvel's always hit really well, and they're just cool to watch.
Yeah, it's like you've missed Takumi Iroha.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I haven't been as high on her as I was like 2 years ago, but like I feel hype when she makes her entrance, and
she's a special talent.
It was so fun to see Daisuke Sakimoto like square up with her, and I think he had a lot of fun with that also.
Yes. So, last Joshi promotion for today is Pro Wrestling Wave. They had a Kurikan Hall show. At the beginning, they presented their three new rookies. We have Asuna, who hasn't passed her protest yet. Honoka, who has a lucha mask kind of. She debuted on April 2nd, so yesterday, against Kizuna Tanaka. if you know the name Tanaka, you instantly, okay, we talked about him earlier. Yes, she is the daughter of none other than Minoru Tanaka from GLEAT. She is, and also from the daughter of Yumi Fukawa. So she is the third wrestler after the two Dragon Gate twins who has a Japanese wrestler who has a father and a mother who is actually a wrestler. So that's kind of a history thing here for Wave, and it's cool to see her going into wrestling because we don't see it often. Second generation superstar wrestlers going into Joshi wrestling.
And so far, it seems very, very wholesome. I haven't seen her debut match yet.
Yeah, she's so scared. She's so scared. Yeah, have you seen the match yet?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, you should. So I'm just we go into detail more in the thing, but she has the theme song, the intro theme song of her father and mother, and comes out with her mother's old gear, kind of, so in the same color, which is cool. She's definitely gonna be big star. She's really likable. She stands out. And Hanako, her opponent, can do the space rolling elbow. She's gonna be fantastic as well.
Nice. Anyone that can do the space rolling elbow is a thumbs up for me.
Thumbs up. Yeah. So I'm just gonna quickly talk about it because not much happened on the show. Iger. So first of all, we had a tag title change in a pretty solid match. The dominant run of Galaxy Punch is over. They dropped the belt at, I think,
to the most disappointing people to beat them. It was a long reign. It was a long reign.
In terms of defenses, yes.
Yeah.
I think that like 13 or so, 12, 13. I don't know. Cage match doesn't have all of them. Yeah, in the end, Itsuki Awaki, who I like, I think her being a champion against cool, but her tag team partner is Ikuto Hidaka. Yes, it's not a Joshi.
Yeah,
he's a 50-year-old man who especially wrestled a lot in 0-1, who was in Pro Wrestling Noah last year till he left. Really weird to have him as champion. I think it's going to be a transitional title reign. It will drop it pretty soon, but it's kind of weird to end the reign with that.
If I remember correctly, I think he has also done some Hiroshi Tanahashi. Yeah, but I think he has done some Hiroshi Tanahashi cosplay matches. You know,
amazing.
If I remember correctly. But like this guy is like the most indie wrestler of all. Like he is such an indie wrestler.
Yeah, it's kind of weird to see him holding the belt. I hope
and
it's
like,
not for so long.
Him and Itsuki Aoki, I don't know what that partnership is, what the history behind that is. Why they are tag team champions. I would
need to like to know that actually. I they definitely have some, I think, but I don't know what it is. I'm not into that much of Itsuki Aoki Lord to know that. I think they're from the same. Oh yeah, they're from the same hometown. Okay.
That makes sense.
So they're both from Shimane. Okay, maybe that's the connection.
Galaxy Punch, Hikaru Shimizu's carrying power went out.
Yes. I mean, it's sad to see, but I'm interested to see what they do next. The main event was Hikaru Shida defending her Regina the Wave belt against Iger. Iger is retiring soon.
Yeah, this was a loyalty defense, like title match.
Yeah, totally. Which is okay, you know. In terms of Wave, Iger, Sakaru Hirota, who know them, big feud in Sendai Girls especially, totally understandable. It's just, you know, with Hikaru Shida announced retained the belt. In the middle, we had Miyuki Takase and Sakaru Hirota having their singles match with the weird stuff.
Yeah.
Coming out, it was a comedy match. You won't really miss anything if you don't watch it. Interesting part is after the match, Hikaru Shida announced that she's not in the Catch the Wave tournament, which already says she's not coming back to Wave till after Catch the Wave tournament. So
she's dropping the title to the Catch the Wave winner.
So her next defense, also she doesn't need to take one more pins.
Yeah.
Which means her next defense will be in like July. Likely, I hope so, against the returning Gizu Nozaki, because otherwise, no clue who's winning. No clue.
It should.
Okay. My other prediction is Sakura Hirota we count out, because then Hikaru Shida doesn't need to lose, but otherwise, no clue who's winning. No clue.
Yeah. I mean, you are way more familiar with Wave than me.
Yeah, Hikaru Shida's booking is just she's protected and nobody can beat her.
I want Manami. No, I'm sorry. I wrote wrong. Kuhaku. I want Kuhaku to
Kuhaku.
At least. I want that Hikaru Shida and Kuhaku match, but I don't think they value Kuhaku enough to put Kuhaku over versus Shida.
It's a Nozaki thing, likely, and we will see when she's coming back. So we're gonna jump to the last promotion I want to talk about. It's the match in Big Japan between Okabayashi and So for the strong belt, and I love that match.
Yeah, it was a very good match. Way better than Yuji Okabayashi's first title defense this year. I should mention. Big Japan this year has been on the back burner for me because I first of all I haven't been able to find that many matches of them, and I haven't been that invested in them.
It's
Big
like
Japan,
the typical matches we are watching all the time.
And this was a really good, strong heavyweight title match.
Yes, totally. I think to go into a bit more detail, So especially he don't has a lot of chances because he's signed with he's normally only with Kollega, or like was until this year, and he doesn't have a lot of matches normally, especially big matches. So him having this big match in the Kurikan Hall is a big thing, and he was fantastic here. He totally stood out to me. Of course, I mean, we all know how awesome Yuji Okabayashi is. All know it. But with Daimonji Show, it's just, we don't know much about him. He had this match against Okabayashi last year in Tokyo, and not in Tokyo, in Osaka. Yeah. That was great. And now that match against Okabayashi, I think it was on a similar level. They killed it. Okabayashi retained at the end, and perfect. I have nothing to play here. Yeah,
I think I'm still disappointed that it wasn't Yuya Aoki, who I way much prefer to So. But
yeah, he's getting his shot, I think, in the Yokohama Budokan show on.
Oh, that's a Yokohama. Oh, that's awesome.
The biggest Big Japan show of the year. Hopefully, I can get it wrong. It is the May 4th show. And speaking of it, the next challenger is Daisuke Sekimoto on April 15th, and the winner of that is challenging Awaki. So there's that.
Nice. That is cool.
So that's all the promotion we wanted to talk about. So we just gonna do a little recap. I'm just gonna ask you the question: who for you is your wrestler of the month? That's here in indie wrestling, indie pro wrestling, and
there.
I have the rule: we are excluding Kenta Miyahara because that's the easy answer.
There is one we haven't mentioned yet that I need to shout out because I don't think he's my number one, but the All-Star Junior Festival was this month, and he had a great showing there, and he had a title defense this month, and I am of course talking about my favorite indie wrestler, Fujita Junior Hayato.
Yes.
He has I have seen 2 Fujita Junior Hayato matches this month. That is 2 matches that I have seen more than other months. So I need to shout him out because I just love him.
Yes, he's great.
the biggest problem with Michinoku Pro is that I can't watch more Fujita Junior Hayato.
Yeah. I actually haven't watched the match yet because I'm kind of a bit busy in the last couple of days since they aired. But definitely check it out. It was against Musashi. I think,
Musashi?
I think, if you want to find the link, you will know how.
Or just DM me on Twitter. I can send it to you. I watched it and it was awesome.
We promote obviously only here the legal way. We just help people to watch in the legal way, of course.
Yeah.
Now, yes.
The match this year was a lot more technical than last year's like epic triumphant match.
Yes.
And I really like that. It was a cool, unique way of their match. And it was, of course, last year's was way more special and stood out more and had a lot more going for it on the storyline part because Fujita came back from cancer. But this was still a really good rematch between Hayato and Musashi, and I want to watch more Michinoku Pro. And also tomorrow on Bioden Zero, Fujita Junior Hayato is on that show also. And that will be reviewed on Dramatic Dream Dragons later this week.
Amazing. Yes. Awesome. Yeah. To mention my rest of the month, I mean, the obvious one is, of course, always Kento. We always need to shout out him, even though he hadn't had this big singles match. He always has great matches. But this month, it's Kaito Ishida.
Yeah, that was my other guy.
Yeah, just because he had this great match against Atsuki Awagi that I really loved, and of course the Durex one that for me also was one of the best matches of the entire month against Kazuma Sakamoto, and that's why he deserves to be on the list. And I think next month is not going to be that much different considering he has T-Hawk and this junior tag tournament, and I'm really hyped for this next month.
Yeah, and I mean, the next month, Champion Carnival will probably dominate a lot of the MVPs and stuff. So
yeah, it's likely Kanto.
Yeah.
Oh, much time. Okay, then also another category I have is match of the month, and I will start. Okay, I have two matches that I think you have kind of similar, and the third match I have, we didn't talk about that because I just wanted to talk about here. It's a 0-1 match, and I hope you know which one.
Yeah.
It's Masato Tanaka versus Momoka Hanazono. And that's not your typical wrestling match where they go without crazy stuff and work technical match or whatever. It was a mix between awesome comedy from Momoka Hanazono and Masato Tanaka doing Masato Tanaka stuff. And it worked so well. I don't know. I'm just a big Momoka Hanazono fan.
I like the match. It is a fun comedy and mixed with some strong Momoka. Like any match that gets Momoka Hanazono to work hard in the middle after doing comedy spots is awesome.
Momoka is such a great wrestler when she wants to show it. Such a great wrestler.
Yeah, and like it's awesome to see that like build up. Of course, I have a big problem with phone held camera shot. Wrestling.
That was.
This was that is the biggest downside I have to that match, but it was a fun match. I agree with that. Also, shout out to 01's Cork and Hall show that was on the 5th. Not a match of the month or top 3 or anything like that, but it should be noted that you should go and watch Tanaka versus Shoki Kitamura from that show, because that was a very good 01 world title match.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. And so, what's your match of the month? I have 2 others on my list. I hope you say
I have 3.
One of them. Okay, you have 3.
So, I can start with number 3, I guess.
Yeah.
So my number 3 that I haven't talked about at all, but I want to talk about is from Actors Girls. Miku Ano versus Koki. the,
Koki.
the final of the vacant title tournament. This was just an awesome, just star-making performance for Koki and Miku Ano just dominating. This match is a singles match that I think everyone should watch and then decide if they want to watch Actress Girls. Of course, Actress Girls isn't a work rate promotion. It is way more about the characters and the way we see the wrestlers develop and stuff like that. Because they're all like really young in their careers. And this match is free on YouTube. They have uploaded it for free on their YouTube channel, and it is so needed to watch it because it's just such a heartfelt performance from Koki. You really feel it, and Miku Ano does a really good like bullying performance. Like there's at the end of this match, Miku Ano's footprint of her boot is on Koki's face. That is how hard this match is in some parts.
Yes. I watched that. I don't watch a lot of the newest Actress Girls, sadly, but I really like the one. I think everyone should really check that out. And if you obviously have questions to the promotion, Sondre is definitely going to help.
Yeah.
Okay. What are the other two matches in your list? I hope you have the same as I have.
Kazuma Sakamoto and Kaito Ishida and Arisa Nakajima and Ayama Sasama.
Okay, thank you. Perfect. We have to, yeah. I mean, we talked about both of them. Fantastic matches, and really hope we get more Arisa Nakajima big matches. And I can only praise them, both of them.
Yeah,
all four.
And both of our number threes were like our little like nerding out for favorite wrestlers. So
yes. Oh, that's awesome. So, okay, then we are entering the time where we just gonna preview what's happening next month. We obviously start with the GLEAT Hurricane Hall show. We just go a bit, not that much into detail because we're gonna do that on our respective podcasts. So, the GLEAT Hurricane Hall show obviously has Unagi Sayaka versus Michiko Miyagi in the if Michiko loses, she's leaving GLEAT match. We are both thinking that Miyagi wins. If not, then it's definitely a high-stakes matchup here. Then we have the tag titles. We have the champions defending against... Wait, my link is not... Flamita and El Bandito. Like I said, I haven't seen much. Feels like another transitional title defense.
Yeah.
I'm saying it now and then the title switching. I know that already. And of course, the main event of the show, I think it's the Invader show, so it's a produced show of the stable of.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. It's yeah. So the main event is Kaito Ishida against T-Hawk, which is maybe one of the biggest matches GLEAT can do. I hope that does well in terms of attendance.
Yeah.
And match-wise, it will be fantastic. It's really open who wins it, actually.
Yeah, I hope Kaito Ishida retains, but I wouldn't rule out a T-Hawk title switch.
Yes.
Should also be mentioned on this show is that the semifinals of the UWF title tournament are happening, and it's Yu Isuka versus Tatsunori Ito. I think I said that correct. And Hikaru Sato versus Shinya Aoki.
That's actually interesting. I'm gonna just really quick what I think. The Ito versus Isuka match feels like, okay, the winner is winning the tournament because both of them, before I said it in the podcast with Scott, the first Puro Gems episode, I felt like that both of them were, okay, they could actually win this and are the favorites to win this. So I expected it kind of to be the final outside of the bracket. But it's interesting to see what they do here. I hope it's Izuka who wins it because he definitely needs to win a big win after being a kind of a geek in the last couple of months, and also him jobbing all the time, kind of.
Yeah.
But my hope is not that high. I think the Shinya Aoki thing is this is one that makes me think, okay, never mind.
Aoki and Hikaru Sato will be a very telling match. Because if Aoki wins that, I feel it's given that he might win the tournament and become the first champion.
Yeah, even though I think, oh god, I think it was some other big show where Itsuki faced Itsuki faced actually Shinya Owaki, and in a UWF match it would be kind of rematch from there, and then he can finally overcome him. But
yeah,
that would be possible, or at least that is what I would do. But what I would do isn't often what the promotion does. So
yeah,
there's that. Moving on, we also have All Japan with the Champion Carnival.
Some last GLEAT things is that on April 6th in Shinjuku First Ring, I don't know if this is a mistranslation from the like poster, but it looks like Emperor Azteca is defending his big lucha title versus Soma Watanabe.
What a wild match!
Yeah, because they have like the big lucha written like really big there, and I think it might be Azteca defending the title.
That would be cool. Big Soma Watanabe matches. I love it. Need more of it. So yeah, moving on, we have of course All Japan that have the Junior Tactic in the Champion Carnival. So if I ask you right now, who's winning it? Who do you think is winning the Champion Carnival, and who's winning the tag tournament?
The tag tournament, I think, is Rising Hayato and Atsuki Aoyage, and the Champion Carnival, Kento Miyahara.
Well, okay. I totally normally I should agree with you. I think you're gonna be correct here. But I'm just gonna gambling, and I say that the tag tournament is, like you said, Awagi and Rising Hayato, and the Champion Carnival is gonna be Yuma Awagi. And
yeah, two Pete. That would be awesome.
Yes, that would be cool. Yes. Then moving on, we have Big Japan. We have Daisuke Sekimoto versus Okabayashi on April 15th. And I don't know if you have heard that, for the Big Japan tag team titles, we have the Astronauts against Strong BJ.
Oh my god, let's go.
And I can't wait for that.
Let's fucking go. That's all I have to say about that.
Strong BJ, of course, Okabayashi and Daisuke Sekimoto against Astronauts, Takuya Nomura and Fujinobu Abe. It always means awesome matches. Always means awesome match.
Hell yeah.
And I hope they get the time. They had the last match they had, or like the last title match they had, at least it was in last year. That was a 30-minute time limit draw, and that was, I think, definitely a tag team match of the year contender. Then they also had one this year at the tag team tournament, and some undercard with a double pin that was also fantastic, and it just went like 10 minutes. Yeah. I'm expecting a match of the year contender, and I think we're gonna get one.
Yeah, definitely a Big Japan match of the year contender.
Yes. So moving on, we have a interesting promotion working together with interesting promotions working together. We have a Gata Move X DPW show in Tokyo, two of them actually, with the main event of at least one show being Violence is Forever, Kebiku Dominic Garini against CDK. And
oh, nice! That is news to me.
It is also Haruko Mizaki on the card, okay? The card is fantastic. No, it's also an undercard match, of course, Haruko Misaki and Miyuki Takase against the DPW World Women's Champion Emi Sakura and Tori Yoneyama, which is cool. There's some really cool stuff on there. It's gonna be cool because DPW is, of course, I think DPW, they are big Joshi wrestling fans, or like big, it's
yeah.
them coming over, even bringing their champions, the tag team champions with them is also cool. And them just doing a show in Tokyo is just cool. It's gonna be a fun show, and nothing likely to go crazy about in terms of quality, but it's gonna be a fun show. And
yeah, I hope they announce a Hagan Shino title defense.
That would be cool. Yeah, I think they only announced the card for day one.
Yeah.
Wait, DPW. If I find it, I can read it out quick.
Or maybe do a champion versus champion, Lucky Ali versus Hagan Shino. That would be.
So I think they only have announced the 25th card. It's Mochi Natsumi against Mia, so the trainee. It's Saki and Obi versus Antonio Honda and Okuti and Shunin Chin. Then I think Bani and Aki against Rina Yamashita, which is cool.
Oh.
Chie and Kayoko Bayashi against Ryo Mizunami and Mei Suruga. Emi Sakura and Yoneyama against Haruka Umezaki and Miyuki Takase. And the DPW Tag Team Championship maps Violence Forever against CDK. And I think the
only Native American wrestlers there is Violence is Forever, isn't it?
Yeah, but it makes sense because I don't think it's really worth for them flying over people to Tokyo for just 2 matches.
That's a shame. I wanted Lucky Ali to be on that show.
Yeah, that would have been cool if they got 2 or 3 more. But it's cool because I think it's likely going to be on the DPW side, so them are getting some cool. Maybe I don't know. Maybe something happens here that Ryo Mizunami or Rina Yamashita gets booked in DPW in America. Then would be fantastic. And the last match I quickly want to talk about is a Diana match. You have no clue which one I mean, right?
No.
Okay, it's a Big Hurricane Hall show on April 29th. It's for the 3D singles belt. It's Akosako defending her belt against Haruka Umezaki. And myself, I'm one of the biggest Haruka Umezaki fans in the world, and I hope for the love of God that she wins. If not, we're gonna see rage on the next podcast. And I hope my next guest feels my feelings then.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's actually it. We are done with the episodes. Short bit under 2 hours. Okay, that's totally fine. And now I'm gonna give you the chance, Sondre, to plug everything you want to plug your podcast, everything you want.
Yeah, we hit the 140, 150 mark, and that is the mark that every episode of Dramatic Dream Dragons always hits, where we talk Dragon Gate and DDT, and we go into detail a lot about Dragon Gate and DDT. We are probably the only podcast that broke down every single match from the 16 match Korakuen Hall show from DDT. So if you want to listen to three people talk about that full show, you can listen to that episode. We are doing a lot of Dragon Gate stuff, of course. Later this week, we will review the Biden show and the Korakuen Hall show from Dragon Gate and what DDT did in Hollywood.
Yes. You also can plug your Twitter handle. It's
at Sondre Bjorn. I am the only Sondre that talks about wrestling, so you should find me.
It's not hard to find you. Yeah, and like I said, please check the podcast out and also support the other stuff of the 5-Star Network. We have a lot of content, a lot of people that do fantastic content about everything you can imagine, from Stardom podcast, TGPW podcast. It's fantastic. They give a lot. Please give them all some love. Also, check out my Twitter at @p__wrestling on Twitter. I'm the guy with the micro profile picture. You will definitely know me by now.
Yep.
Thank you for listening, and have a good day, good night, or a good morning. Peace out.